Welcome to Gogopreneur, where Gogo Bethke, your host, interviews badass rock star entrepreneurs of the world, figuring out who they are, how they got to where they're at, and the lessons they learned along the way so you can learn those lessons and turn it into money. Let's go get them.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Gogopreneur. Today, my guest is Kevin Cottrell, the CEO of RealBricks. And RealBricks is a fractionalized real estate company. And in case you're wondering what the heck is fractionalized real estate, I did the same thing just a few months ago. I had no idea what it is. I had no idea it existed. But let me tell you, I'm super excited that it does exist. It allows the everyday person to start investing with as low as $10 and as young as 18 years of age. And today, Kevin is our guest to explain us how the process actually works, how you can invest into fractionalized real estate yourself. Because I'm huge on, we talk a lot about mindset, because mindset is what's going to take you through the process of making money, right? Like to take action on the opportunity that you're faced with and not have fear, have faith, and all of those things. But when you finally start making money, then the next question is, what are you supposed to be doing with that money? How to invest it? And I feel like so many people wait to have a big chunk of money later in life to invest it into real estate, because we didn't even know that we can invest as little as $10. So let's figure out how. Let's talk to Kevin today. Hello, my Gogopreneur friends. Are you frustrated by not knowing how to reach that 7-digit mark in your business? Maybe kind of like stuck in the progress? I want to invite you to Gogopreneur.com. It is your last stop to becoming a 7-digit entrepreneur. You will have access to monthly live calls with me and industry experts and Q&As at the end. Every training video is recorded. We have a massive knowledge library. You will have access to my team. Tuesdays for Tech Tuesdays and Wednesdays, you have direct access to my VAs. Ask them absolutely anything, how we have built everything in all of my businesses. You will have access to a private Facebook group and a private Facebook chat. And that's where I communicate directly with all of our members. That's where I share my thoughts, my ideas, a new app, books that I'm reading, videos that I'm watching, anything I'm feeding to my brain, any systems that I'm implementing into my business. That is your direct access to me, your direct access to each other and like-minded entrepreneurs in the industry. Join us today to transform your business. Go to Gogopreneur.com. Hello, Mr. Kevin Cottrell, CEO of RealBricks. Thank you so much for your time here with us today.
Hey, Gogo. Glad to be here. Looking forward to talking with you.
How are you? Okay, so tell me about, let's start at the basics. What is fractionalized real estate? Our listeners could be anywhere from never invested to probably owning multiple doors. They could be anywhere in the investment world, right? What is fractionalized real estate if we are explaining it at the entry level?
Yeah, so fractionalizing real estate is fairly simple. So if you take a rental house, RealBricks is going to buy a rental house. Let's just call it a fictitious address of 123 Main Street. So we'll buy the property, we'll pay all cash for it. We'll then list it on our marketplace at RealBricks.com for sale. We are a qualified offerer for the SEC that allow us to create securities. So each of the fractions or shares of the property, this is the fractionalization, right? They create a security that a buyer would purchase. So what we do is we essentially divide it up, and somebody can buy as many shares as they'd like up to the maximum allowed by the SEC. So the fractionalization, to answer your question, is really just dividing it into shares that are securities instead of like what you might be familiar with, where people go in with a couple of partners, they buy a rental property, or more sophisticated investors go in with an investment group and they buy some percentage of it. Ours are just securities like you buy on Robinhood. It's something through the SEC.
That's amazing. So it has a website. It's called RealBricks.com, right? It also has an app, so you can open it up on your phone, and you can invest as little as $500 as early as 18 years of age.
So it's actually $100.
Oh, it is
be 18. Yes.
Actually, guys, we are both wrong. You can invest it as little as $10. Just go to RealBricks.com and you will see you can buy shares in a real estate property with as little as $10.
So, even less. That's crazy.
Yeah, philosophically, we want it to be, democratized. We want it to be available to anyone, right? There's no, because one of the other questions that comes up a lot is, do I have to qualify? And there's a process with more sophisticated investors that are required, and sometimes you have to do what's called get accredited. And we don't need to worry about what that means. There's income and asset qualification, but ours is open to anyone. So if you have your $100, you create an account on RealBricks.com. And you go through the process, and once your account is set up, you can attach it to your bank draw the money into your wallet, and assuming you have $100 in there, you can go on RealBricks, look at the property you're interested in, and you can purchase the shares in there, much like you would buy on Robinhood. And you are correct. There is an app available through the Apple Store and then in the Google Play Store. So whether you have an Android or an Apple-based mobile device, you can actually get an app and you can actually make the purchases there much like you would on Robinhood through the app.
So I am opening up mine because I remember downloading it already. Let me find, the app is called RealBricks with CKS at the end. It's a white and black symbol. And so if you go to the Apple Store and you put in RealBricks with BRICKS, you're going to be able to find it, download it, join it. So Kevin, can they just join right now if they want to?
Yeah, anybody listening to this can go to realbricks.com or to the App Store and get the app. It's available on the web. It's mobile friendly. So even if you're on your phone and you haven't downloaded the app, and going to realbricks.com, you create an account, go through the steps there. It's a very simple process. And once you do that and you've put funds in your wallet, you can then go and purchase shares in any of the properties you see on our marketplace.
And is investing open already?
As of the time this is going to air, investing is open. You'll see properties both in a coming soon status, and then once we push them live, they go to active. So those are really the only two things that you'll see. And then if it's in process of being fractionalized, meaning we're accepting investors in, you'll be able to see how much of it's left. And we will take it until we fully subscribe, meaning we've sold every share available in a property, and then it would go into a previous offering. Because one of the other things we do is after a period of approximately 30 days, we're going to allow secondary trading in those securities. Remember, this is a security in real estate. So you'll see the properties then potentially pop up on our secondary marketplace. So the main realbricks.com page where you purchase initially, you're buying shares in a property. And then after a period of approximately 30 days, we can move them over if somebody's interested, and they'll be available for that person who, let's say, you mentioned $500. Let's say somebody bought $500 worth of 123 Main Street, and now they want to pull $100 back out. They can post it on our secondary market, and our system will then allow another investor to come in and say, I'll take those $100 in 123 Main. They come out of your account and they go into the other investor's account, much like this works like Robinhood.
That's just so crazy. I am so excited. My child, my oldest, all he wants to do is invest into stocks and anything that he can invest into, right? Well, he's 17. So he can't do it just yet, but I cannot wait to tell him about this. I bet you the first thing he's going to want to do on the first day of his 18th birthday is to invest. I absolutely love this idea.
Yeah.
I love how affordable it is. I love how anybody can do it. I love that it's super easy to do it from your cell phone, from the computer. You can save $100, $200 every single month and build your wealth. So, for example, we invested into a syndication, which was hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? You invest into a syndication and then your money is so sad parked or so sad out of commission for like 5 years, depending how long that syndication is. So you don't have the time constraint on this type of investment. Like literally as soon as the property shows up on the secondary market, you can and have the ability to so said resell your shares, correct?
Yeah, so the way the secondary market works as compared to the longer term investment that you've done, like you buy a syndication in an apartment building, right, with $50,000, $100,000, $150,000, you're in there for the duration that they own the property. We're designing our rental properties to be the same way, right? Our intention for investors is they should plan on a longer term hold, but we realize that people's situations change. So you're absolutely right. They could sell all or part of their shares, and it's a matching service. So as properties mature over time, and probably less that would happen in the first 30 days. Let's say somebody buys a bunch of properties in Florida, right? They decide that over time we have a bunch of properties, and we'll pick a market that we know well, Tampa. And now they've bought a bunch of shares and properties in Tampa. And then they decide, you know what? I want to move some of my capital to Texas. I want to take some of my money and move it over to Texas. It's 18 to 36 months later. That's probably a pretty common scenario we'll see. Now they may be putting money in all the time, and then they can potentially list their shares as available in the secondary market. Somebody else will come in and say, I like those shares. I want to buy those 100 shares. I want to buy those, shares that you've posted, and then it comes back into your wallet. And now there's a Texas property you're interested in, you reapply the funds. Now you own some Florida shares and you own some Texas shares. And we see people, because there's going to be, like Robinhood, portfolio tools in the account. So you're going to be able to look at your portfolio. What are the distributions you've received on a quarterly basis? Because we collect the rent, pay the expenses. And then on a quarterly basis, you're going to get money in your account based on what's available. And it works just like quarterly dividends on a stock. These are quarterly returns coming out of the property.
I'm like giddy over here. I'm so excited about this. I remember the first time I learned dividends and I was like, hold on a minute, let me get this straight. I'm going to invest my money. My money is going to grow, ideally, right, as the stock prices grow. And in the meantime, while it's growing, you're paying me quarterly, and the money I invested grew in the meantime. Mind blowing.
It is. And if you think about property, there's no guarantees, but if the income on the rental is going up over time, we talked about, 30 days, but let's say it's 3 years.
2 years later, yeah.
And it's already been leased a second time. Maybe we put a 2-year lease on it. And now there's a new tenant in there, and now the income's gone up, and maybe the market's gone such, there's a lot of different factors that can change things. And now maybe fractional real estate is taken off to the point where people are now looking and they're like, I want to own in Tampa. And we're back to our example. And they can come in and they'll say, I'm interested in selling my shares of my Tampa property. Maybe, I initially bought it for everything's initially when you do the primary offering, you initially made your purchase. Let's just do a fictitious example of this. And because you're in charge of what you sell for, right? If you initially bought $500 worth, right? It's $10 a share. So you can do the math, right? $100 would be 10 shares. 50 shares would be $500. And now you decide, I don't want to sell my shares. I'm going to sell 10 shares for $20 a share. Put it in the secondary marketplace. And if somebody takes a look at the property, because all of the reporting on it in the secondary market is going to say, how much rent is there? What have the distributions been? What does the third party data say about property values in this market? What's happened over the last 36 months? And much like you can on Robinhood or Yahoo Finance, you're going to be able to do research. And we're going to provide all that, both portfolio for the owner and then third-party data for a potential buyer. So not only for the people initially purchasing, but then over time for people that want to buy in the secondary market. We're going to have a lot of data that will allow people to, if they want to, get a return and build a portfolio over time. It's not so much buy and just hold forever. Buy and build yourself a portfolio over time.
You get paid for the hour what you bring to the hour. Or in other words, the fastest way for you to earn more is by learning more. Go Get 'em is your chance to learn from those who have walked the talk. Gogo invites all of the top performers in the industry to guide you through your success journey. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. The roadmap is already laid out. If you haven't figured out how to make money in your sleep yet, you're not running a business. You're stuck in a job. Join Go Get 'em to learn how to earn passively and have your money doing all the heavy lifting so you don't have to.
To join Go Get 'em community, just go to www.gogetemcommunity.com and we will see you inside of our most amazing entrepreneurial community ever.
And I think it allows also people to start little. Like I took so long, I should say, it took me so long to start finally investing, right? Because as a licensed realtor, I did not work with investors because very early on, I realized it's a lot of work. They usually buy low end. They always negotiate your commission. And I'm like, I can't go over there, sell a 1.243%. I don't have to deal with any of this, right? So I never worked with them. Because I never worked with them, I never had to learn to crunch the numbers, right? And because I didn't necessarily have the ability to crunch the numbers, I was always scared, even after I had money, to invest in because I wasn't sure that's the right investment. Make sense? So with this, investing $100 or 200 or 500, it's not as painful as investing 20% on a 400,000, right? So I feel like it's much easier for people to take that first step. It's much more comfortable for people to take that first step because you're not playing with your lifetime savings. We are talking Starbucks money. Like you can skip Starbucks for a week and there is your $100 invested, right? So
Exactly.
I call it my Starbucks money. So I'm super excited about this. So let's go back to the basics. Someone can go to realbricks.com right now, start an account, set it up, put money into their account or hook it up to their bank accounts, and they can start investing as soon as the properties become active. When they become active, they can keep an eye on it. And when the property moves over to the secondary market is when they can potentially, if they want to, sell some or all of their share if they need the money back. If not, let me ask you this. When the dividends are getting paid, I'm assuming there is going to be like a cash value in your account that you can then reinvest back into maybe another property or back into the one that, well, maybe not on the one that you already have because the shares are sold, but back into a different property.
That's correct. It's going to go, the quarterly distributions are going to go into your wallet. And so you'll have a positive balance in there. And much like if you got dividends in your example in the stock world, right, they get paid into your brokerage account, right? This is going to be your fractional real estate investing wallet. And so they're going to be in there and they can be reinvested.
That's awesome. Can you also cash it out?
Yes.
Is that then considered income? I'm assuming. You pay taxes on it. And in the end of the year, then does RealBricks send a K1?
You're going to get reporting at the end of the year, right?
Okay.
It's either going to, it depends on how the person is set up, but for most people, they get a 1099 or a K1.
K1, awesome.
Yeah.
So I also heard that you guys received the stock symbol of bricks. So tell me about that, BRIX.
Yeah, so we're doing a crowdfunding raise. We really, again, with the idea of democratizing opportunity, there's very little opportunities for people to invest in companies. We've had a lot of people ask us the question, how do I invest in RealBricks? I like the idea. I am going to buy fractions of real estate. I'm going to build a portfolio, but how do I actually own part of RealBricks? And so we are running a crowdfunding raise currently. So again, crowdfunding is a process where through the SEC, Securities Exchange Commission, we can raise money. We're raising the initial money we're raising right now is $1,250,000. So the offering is open, and you can go to that and actually review all the details on what we're doing. And so as part of that, we registered the NASDAQ symbol BRIX or BRICS, as you said, because our intention at a later date is to actually go and get listed on NASDAQ as a publicly traded company. So one of the first questions that comes, and I don't know if you're going to end up asking me this, so I'm going to answer it anyways, is this sort of a last step before a company would potentially get active and publicly traded on NASDAQ? Our intention is to do this crowdfunding raise, and we're doing the initial $1,250,000. We could raise more as part of crowdfunding at a higher amount. We don't necessarily need the capital. We're doing this to get the average investor into RealBricks, not so much that we wanted to do this, because when we would subsequently later go public on NASDAQ, then it's in the open marketplace. I mean, and now people are then bidding against the open market. This is a way where if people visit the link that you'll be able to share, they can read all the information, and there's essentially a 100 share minimum to get in. It's $8 a share, so it's $800 as an investment. It's a little bit different than the properties we've been talking about, but we like to think that if somebody wants to own part of RealBricks, $800 is a pretty low entry point to be able to get in, and people can certainly invest more than that if they want to. 800 is just the minimum.
So the minimum is 800 to invest into RealBricks?
Correct.
And the website, everyone, if you are ready and excited and you want to invest into the company, not just invest into real estate through RealBricks, but actually invest into the company, go to investinrealbricks.com, and it's spelled invest, INVESTIN, real, REAL, bricks, BRICKS.com. Investinrealbricks.com. What a great opportunity.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited. I mean, if you look at it, we like the idea that even if people on average just did the $800, we like the idea of getting way more than 1,000 everyday investors in on the company before we down the road do something in terms of a potential offering on NASDAQ. Because they don't get to, like if you have an account at Robinhood, they don't open up IPOs to the average everyday investor, right? This is an opportunity.
Yeah. So if they invest the 800, what happens?
Well, they're essentially going to, and there's full details and disclosures in there on that page. You're going to own part of the corporate structure. You're on the cap table for RealBricks, so that down the road, if we do utilize the BRIX symbol for NASDAQ, you would then have shares in RealBricks that would go into your brokerage account, assuming we were publicly trading on NASDAQ, And instead of shares in properties, you would also have shares in the company RealBricks.
That's amazing. So is there a value currently? Like if someone is investing, let's say $1,000 to keep the math simple, is there an amount of shares that they get in return?
It's $8 a share. So if they're getting
keep it at 800, it's easy.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So it's 100 shares. $8 is $800, right? So they'll have so if they're going to do the minimum, they're going to own 100 shares at $8.
I'm so excited for everyone. Like, I just feel like we finally got into this investment world where, you know, we work so hard to make money. At least I've never learned anything else but how to work hard, right? That's what I was taught in Transylvania. Work hard, you know, hard work equals money. It does for a while, but then it doesn't, right? Then you have to learn what to do with that money. And then your money is supposed to be working hard for you. So then you don't have to do that for the rest of your life. But I feel like there isn't enough life lessons along those lines to understand what to do with money after you make it. And how to build it. And I feel like, especially now that I have teenagers, right? Like, imagine, I'm 42 years old today. Imagine if I knew what I know today, if I knew that when I was 17. Imagine if I could have started investing when I was 17. Like, hopefully my child never going to have to go to your job. Hopefully he's never going to have to respond to anyone to be like, okay, wear a uniform and show up at 8, right? He's hopefully never going to have to do that because he can work now young, take his money, invest, and let his money work for him. So is there anything that we still need to go down on the path of that we didn't cover today that you think it's important, Kevin, when it comes to fractionalized real estate?
No, I mean, I think we covered it. I mean, I think with this, because this is a new thing that's out there, right? There's a bunch of companies that have been talking about it. You're starting to see companies like RealBricks and come out. For anybody listening to this that's not familiar with fractional real estate, and you talked a little bit about this, right? Experience on the investment side in real estate is important, right? Our team's got more than 100 years of collective experience. So I'm not telling you absolutely have to invest with RealBricks, but if you're out there looking, much like I'm sure you did, Gogo, know who you're doing business with. You know, look at deep experience. Our entire team that is on the real estate side of our operation all has extensive experience. I mean, I've been in the business more than 30 years. A lot of our advisors and our other executives on the team have all been in the business at least 20 years, some as long as I have. And we're looking to craft this, to your point, Gogo, so that we could do now what we wish we could have done when we were 18 or 22 years old. And we weren't investing in real estate because there was no opportunity like this. So I'm excited. You know, I would love nothing more that with thousands and thousands of properties down the road that are fractionalized, to look up and see all of these people that thought they were locked out of real estate that now have portfolios. Because for, you know, millennials, the younger millennials and the Gen Zs, they don't necessarily even want to have their own home, but they like the idea of having exposure and investments in real estate. And RealBricks is that opportunity to do that and build that portfolio.
Oh, that's so amazing. I'm so excited for everyone. So let's recap. Go to realbricks.com, BRICKS.com. I forgot the S at the end. Create your account, start investing. I'm super excited for you. I'm an investor. My children's going to be as soon as they turn 18. And trust me, everybody I know, the whole Team Gogo organization, all of my followers, as soon as I can promote this, I will be all over it. Thank you so much, Kevin, for being here today. For everyone else that wants to invest into the company itself, not just the real estate properties, but actual investing into the company, please go to investinrealbricks.com. Again, Bricks is spelled BRICKS.com. Mr. Kevin Cottrell, thank you so much for your time and your knowledge today. And thank you for changing the future generation's ability to invest with as little as $100.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Ready to elevate your mindset? Now it's time for What Would Gogo Do?
In today's section of What Would Gogo Do, Kelly Blanco, at Kelly with 2 L's and 2 Y's Blanco, asked me this question. How do you get rid of nerves? Well, Kelly, the only way is through it. let me tell you this story. My husband would tell you, I used to be deadly afraid of speaking. So when Dwayne, my husband, was working corporate America, he got this speaking training, right? So he would be at home and he would be practicing and all that. And I was like, there's no freaking way I could never do that. Like just watching him practice his speech, I was like, oh my gosh, I could never do this. I used to be so afraid of it. And then the very first time I got on stage, I got off of it. I was like a runner's high. I'm like, can I do it again? Can I go again? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. The difference is originally when I watched him and do his speech, he was talking about a concept and things that I didn't know anything about. If I don't know anything about it, yes, I would be freaking nervous talking about it, but I never talk about things I don't know. I never talk about things or systems and I didn't already set up myself and use. I don't talk about companies or businesses or third-party ideas and things like that. Then I don't personally use and love, and I haven't been there, done that, right? So when you've been there, done that, it's super easy to talk about it because you know exactly what you're talking about. So the resolution, talk about things that you know something about and just go and do it. Just go and do it the first time. And I promise you that after you do it the first time, you're going to get such a runner's high that you are not going to be able to, like, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to do it again. My example is to go, do speaking because that's what I was so afraid of. But for you, it might be, I don't know, jumping out of airplanes. It might be that you're too afraid of working with sellers. You feel comfortable working with buyers. Whatever that thing is, just go do it, put yourself through it. And when you do it, and you do it over and over again, and you do it with good results, that's what makes you the expert. The only way through anything, or I should say the only way to success, is going through it. That's it. Thanks for joining Gogopreneur. Keep that go-getter spirit alive. Until next time, go get 'em.